tonight. Residents of La Ronge escape a growing wildfire, while residents of Denair Beach face devastation. We tell you how all this wildfire smoke could impact your health. And Saskatchewan's top RCMP officer says she's been forced out of her job.
This is CBC Saskatchewan News.
It is Tuesday, June 3rd, and the CBC Saskatchewan News starts right now. I'm Ethan Williams. Thank you for joining us. We are starting to get a clearer picture now of the damage that wildfires have done in Saskatchewan and just how big of an evacuation is taking place. The Saskatchewan Public Safety Agency says over 400 structures have now been lost to fire, including homes, cabins, and other buildings. That includes an SPSA air tanker base near La Ronge. Thankfully, though, no aircraft were damaged there. The SPSA says anywhere between 9,000 and 15,000 people have now been evacuated from dozens of communities. All this, as officials say, Monday was a particularly challenging day for firefighters, with some firefighters fleeing for safety and some fires growing substantially. As of Tuesday afternoon, there are 20 fires burning in the province, 8 of them uncontained. Alexander Silberman has the latest now on the situation in La Ronge and another community that's been devastated by fire.
Fast-moving flames have forced more than 7,000 people in the La Ronge area to flee their homes, the latest community in Saskatchewan under an evacuation order. High winds pushed wildfire dangerously close to the community Monday, with flames breaching the airport about 6 kilometers from town. Residents of La Ronge, Air Ronge, the Lac La Ronge Reserve, and anywhere within a 20-kilometer radius were ordered to evacuate late Monday afternoon.
Holy
Hundreds of cars have been traveling down the main road out of town under hazardous conditions. Fire burning on both sides of the highway. Heavy wildfire smoke and limited to zero visibility is making the evacuation slow. The province says vehicles are being escorted through, only when safe to do so.
There was fire burning on both sides of the road, and to me, that's too close for comfort.
Adding to the chaos, limited gas and widespread phone and internet outages. And with the airport closed due to heavy smoke and fire, patients at the local hospital had to be taken out by ambulance instead of by plane. In Saskatchewan's northeast, more people have been forced to leave Denair Beach. The final remaining firefighters and all essential staff were evacuated yesterday. The southern half of the community has burned to the ground as neighbors watched from afar.
We shared video camera footage from our cameras of our houses until each one sequentially lit on fire.
Thousands of evacuees are arriving here in Prince Albert in search of help and a place to stay. This hotel is where tired and relieved evacuees from La Ronge are arriving to register with the Red Cross. But accommodations are quickly filling up, and many are driving hours south in search of a place to stay. The province is now looking to Alberta, hoping evacuees might be able to go there. Alexander Silberman, CBC News, Prince Albert, Saskatchewan.
And officials in La Ronge now say they have finished evacuating the 53 patients and residents from healthcare facilities in the community. Some of those evacuees require acute care in hospital.
These were individuals with a range of medical needs, from admitted acute patients to medically fragile long-term care patients. We are thankful for our teams that were able to complete the evacuation safely, ensuring continuity of care and patient safety throughout the process. As of now, the La Ronge Health Centre, including the emergency department, is closed. While 911 service may be intermittent in the area, emergency care remains available through the EMS base, which is currently staffed by physicians and nursing staff. A small crew of healthcare providers, physicians, and nurses remain in the community, and coverage will continue to be assessed as we go forward and adjusted as needed.
And as you heard from Alexander Silberman, evacuees lined up along Highway 2 south of La Ronge to get out of harm's way. We heard there from evacuee Tom Roberts. Here's a bit more now about what he saw and the stressful moments he encountered to get to safety.
I have never experienced anything this dramatic before, and waiting on the highway south of La Ronge, 25 miles south, for over 2 hours so we can get escorted through the main fire area. That, I tell you, was the hardest and the scariest and frightening, driving through smoke. And the RCMP told us, drive slow, don't stop. There's heavy smoke about 2 kilometers down. Do not stop. I just about stopped because at one place there, and I couldn't even see the highway. It was, I just literally could not see the highway. I asked my grandson, can you see the highway? He says, no, Grandpa, but let's just keep going. And I kept going slow, and I looked back because my wife was right behind me. I couldn't even see her headlights on the car. And then my grandson says, oh, there's a white line there. Okay, we're okay, we're okay. And then we saw the yellow line, and we kept going, and it started to clear up, and a sigh of relief. And I looked back, and my wife was right behind me. A big sigh of relief that they were right behind us. There was no way that she wanted us to be separated from that fire.
And further south, Candle Lake is now under a state of emergency. The Resort Village Council made the declaration Tuesday afternoon. At last word, the growing Shoe Fire was less than 14 kilometers away from the resort village. It is now reporting that fire to be 470,000 hectares in size and moving toward the community by about 400 meters each day. Calling a state of emergency allows the community to make quick decisions and access disaster relief money. It also grants the community the ability to call a mandatory evacuation order at a moment's notice. For now, Candle Lake is still under a voluntary evacuation notice. The village says many people have already left, while several others are staying back as volunteers. Meanwhile, that same fire has done significant damage to homes and cottages in East Trout Lake. And some residents are now getting a first look at the destruction, even as the fire continues to rage nearby.
We made a trek up to the town site on May 31st. We felt it was important that we were able to get in there to see the extent of the damage. The road going in was quite haunting. As we passed Candle Lake, we saw emergency crews starting to prepare for the fire that had been approaching Candle Lake. Past that, we turned onto Highway 927, the final 27-kilometer stretch into our town site. What we saw was haunting, very devastating. There was areas of scorched forest, areas that were completely burnt down to the ground. The sky was dark with smoke. There were still fires smoldering in the ditches. And it was quite horrific to see when we got into the town site itself. Every structure had burned to the ground. There was a pile of metal and concrete, and there was still hot spots. It was quite. We were very careful because a lot of the septic tanks had burned right down to the ground. And there were holes that we didn't want to fall into. There was obviously we were wearing ventilators where we could because the smell was quite bad, and the smoke was as I mentioned still smoldering and burning across the lake at the time we were there. And there wasn't a single structure standing in the community that we had been going to for 48 years and held a very special place in our heart. It was absolutely devastating. We went around the community and took pictures of everybody's lot to make sure that they had images, because we didn't think others should be going up there at this time after what we had experienced. We haven't had a response from the government. The community is in grief and uncertain as to what the path to recovery looks like. And so we're really looking to get some support and some answers so we can start moving ahead.
And next door in Manitoba, the situation is not much better, and the smoke and flames are creating extraordinary sights as people evacuate. This is what it looked like on Highway 6 en route to Thompson, about 760 kilometers north of Winnipeg. The major wildfires in that region are burning near Cross Lake, about 60 kilometers to the east of the highway. The Cross Lake wildfire is forcing thousands of people from their homes. Some people are sleeping in their cars, waiting for a route that connects with Highway 6 to open up. And to get a true scale of all the smoke from wildfires burning across Western Canada, we have to look from space. This is a time lapse of satellite images from May 31st to June 2nd. The black line going across the screen is the Canada-US border, and just right of center you can see the Great Lakes. Gray smoke can be seen wafting over North Dakota, Minnesota, and slowly drifting toward the East Coast. We'll be back after the break. The RCMP's top officer in Saskatchewan says she has been forced out of her job because of anonymous complaints. An email from Rhonda Blackmore addressed to F Division employees was posted online Tuesday morning. In it, Blackmore writes the decision to remove her came from the senior executive at RCMP National Headquarters. The email did not elaborate on the complaints. The veteran Mountie has served as commanding officer in Saskatchewan for the past 4 years. RCMP Media Relations in Saskatchewan referred questions to national headquarters. CBC News is still waiting for comment. An Ontario court has approved Canadian Tire's purchase of Hudsons Bay trademarks. The $30 million deal will give Canadian Tire the rights to the Bay name and its coat of arms and iconic stripes. The deal also includes the Bay's distinctly home brand, its Hudson North apparel line, and trademarks like Bay Days. Canadian Tire beat out a dozen other bidders. The approval comes months after Canada's oldest company filed for creditor protection and 2 days after it closed all 96 of its stores nationwide. Well, as you saw earlier, smoke from all the wildfires is traveling far and wide. It's heading east across Canada and stretching down to the southern United States. That's creating a lot of haze that brings significant health hazards with it. Alison Northcott explains.
This was how thick the smoke was on the Opaskwayak Cree Nation in northern Manitoba Sunday.
The smoke was so bad. You know, you could barely see 200 yards, and most of the people that were working outside were coughing, and they were complaining about feeling short of breath.
The community's leadership helped people at risk, seniors and those with health problems like asthma, leave the community to escape the smoke.
We had them go to Winnipeg, where it's a little bit less smoky, we hope, but we hear it's down there too.
There have been air quality alerts across several parts of the country, with wildfire smoke also spilling into the U.S.
It's sure smoky in Minnesota today.
Those aren't clouds, that's Canadian smoke.
Breathing smoky air is more than just uncomfortable. It can be risky.
The particles that you breathe in, they get into your lungs, they get into your bloodstream, and they cause both risks to your heart health, but also your respiratory health.
That's particularly true for people who have underlying health conditions, and the risk can be compounded over time.
As these wildfires are happening more frequently, they're happening longer, we're actually seeing risks like certain types of cancer, so brain cancer, longer-term cardiovascular impacts that are coming from repeated exposures to wildfires.
But there are things you can do to lower your exposure.
Head inside, keep your windows and doors closed as much as possible, and then you need to filter those fine particles from the smoke.
And if you do go out on a smoky day, experts suggest wearing an N95 mask.
Health Canada says people should also keep an eye on the Air Quality Health Index online to know when the air quality is a health risk. Alison Northcott, CBC News, Montreal.
And weather specialist Helena Maharlika joining us now. Hard to believe that smoke has traveled so far, Helena, but of course something that we're seeing in our own backyards.
For sure, Ethan. It's something we've definitely been keeping an eye on. And as they said, any areas with air quality warnings, people are advised to stay indoors. Let's take a look at where those air quality warnings are in Saskatchewan right now. Air quality warnings have been in effect for weeks for the La Ronge and Pelican Narrows area. We have seen air quality statements as well in effect for areas in central Saskatchewan like Melfort, and again, areas like Hudson Bay. It continues to be in effect for those areas. We're still seeing the strongest of the smoke in Buffalo Narrows and La Ronge, but in the coming days, the smoke may be traveling into east central Saskatchewan, so areas like Prince Albert or even Saskatoon may continue to be affected by the smoke. Now, in terms of the wildfire danger throughout the province, the risk has come down just a little bit. We're seeing on our map that not everywhere is in the red and yellow zone, thanks to just a little bit of rain, but there is still lots of high and extreme risks throughout the province where the fires are burning. A little bit of a chance of rain throughout the province Tuesday evening, about a 30 to 60% chance with a risk of thunderstorms throughout much of south and central Saskatchewan, even a slight risk of small hail in southern Saskatchewan Tuesday evening. We're seeing that throughout most of the province. And as we get to Wednesday, there could still be a slight chance of rain. Again, a slight chance with a risk of thunderstorm in south and central Saskatchewan, but not much relief in the north where we need it the most. We're not seeing much rain until we get later on into the week. Friday, we're seeing some rain coming in through the far north in the Stony Rapids area. It was definitely a windy Tuesday, winds gusting up to 60 kilometers an hour in central Saskatchewan, around Saskatoon and Prince Albert. It will be another breezy Wednesday, but not quite as strong, winds gusting up to 40 kilometers an hour in eastern parts of the province in both south and central Saskatchewan. And the rest of the week, we're seeing those winds dying down. We will have a little bit of a breezy Thursday, but no extreme winds coming our way. As we get to Wednesday, we're seeing the temperatures kind of raising down just a little bit. We're hovering just below the 25-degree mark, so we've seen that extreme heat kind of dissipate throughout the province. And then as we get to the end of our work week, we are seeing temperatures reaching around the 25-degree mark, Ethan. So temperatures are warming up, but we are grateful for the fires that temperatures are just a little cooler.
Yeah, and the winds dying down certainly going to help things as well.
Good sign for sure.
All right, Helena, thanks so much.
Thanks, Ethan.
Well, Mosaic 2025 is set to start on Thursday in Regina, and one of the more popular pavilions represents the Philippines. The Maharlika dance group is one of the showcase events at that pavilion. We caught up with two dancers who are following in their father's footsteps and embracing their Filipino roots.
I plan on doing it until I'm not allowed to. My dad did Maharlika when he was a kid, and so we came back from a trip and we signed up for it.
So, all the way back in the late 60s when my grandfather moved here, it was really helpful for my dad when he was integrating with the community here in Canada. He was born here, but to immigrating parents. So Maharlika was a really good opportunity to sort of bring that together with other Filipinos that had immigrated or had been born here. It was a really great way of sharing culture, and I decided I wanted to do that too. My dad suggested it to me, but it was definitely my choice, and I definitely enjoy being here.
Especially being one of the bigger pavilions. I remember when we used to be like the small one, we were like in the hallway. And that one was like, I think that was like the first time that I did Mosaic. It was really stressful, but at the end, I just loved it.
It was such a crazy thing to me as a kid, going to Mosaic and being there and eating the cultural food being cooked like from a restaurant, right? Like they have the catering there. So it's different than it's normally foods that I would just eat at home, but it was so cool seeing that it was everywhere and everybody was eating it, you know? The experience of performing together, right? All of the shared stress, the shared effort, right? That brings people together in a way I've never seen before.
Well, the pools will soon be filled with people in Saskatoon. This is Riversdale Pool, and it's opening this Friday. Lethe Pool is not far behind, opening next Monday. Mayfair Pool follows on June 13th, and George Ward Pool rounds out the list, opening June 17th. Stay with us. Helena will tell us if the 7-day forecast shows pool-ready weather when we come back. Welcome back. The Saskatchewan Roughriders are set to kick off the CFL season on Thursday night against the Ottawa Red Blacks. Expectations are high as Corey Mace heads into his second year as head coach. The Riders return with one of the best defenses in the league. Two of their defensive standouts say keeping things simple and ignoring the outside noise is key to success.
I mean, you can say we embrace it, but at the same time, I mean, every single day we want to just go 1-0. You know, that the expectations can mean something, you know, to the outside, but at the same time, we got to prove it every single day. And, you know, nobody's just going to give it to us. We got to make sure we go out there and take it. And, you know, that's pretty much our mentality.
We don't worry about that. We have our own expectations. We don't listen to the outside media, everything like that. We just got to take care of our business, do what we are supposed to do. We know what we're capable of. We just got to go out there and get the job done.
The season opener will be Jameer Thurman's 100th CFL game. The linebacker says hitting the field that many times feels like a testament to his hard work. Kickoff Thursday night is 7 o'clock at Mosaic Stadium. And here's hoping, Helena, we have a nice forecast for the game.
Definitely, Ethan. Lucky for those riders, the sun will be out all throughout the week. Let's take a look at what's in store for the city of Regina. Wednesday, just one day of rain, about a 30% chance, and temperatures staying at about seasonal for this time of year, hovering around the 20-degree mark. And Thursday, in time for that Riders game, the sun will be back, the rain will stop, and that sun is going to carry on throughout the rest of the week. Throughout the week, temperatures will be hovering around the 25-degree mark. A few windy days throughout the week, and then as we get into next work week, temperatures jumping up closer to 30 degrees, but some rain might come and cool things down. We are seeing overnight lows above seasonal for this time of year, some warmer nights. Saskatoon might be a chance of some thunderstorms Wednesday, making things feel a bit cooler, and temperatures climbing up throughout the rest of the week. The sun is out, but it will be a bit of a breezy week all throughout, and we are seeing overnight lows above seasonal, just above 10 degrees, and temperatures will be climbing up throughout next work week. And Ethan, Tuesday evening, we are seeing overnight lows in the province. A little cooler tonight, south and central Saskatchewan, a risk of some frost, so definitely bring your plants inside if you can.
Oh boy, yeah, I thought winter's already over.
Guess not.
Thanks, Helena.
Thanks, Ethan.
That is it for us. For more news anytime, you can always head to our website or subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can also download the CBC News app on your smartphone or tablet. Thanks so much for watching.